You never really graduate from learning to trust yourself. In another conversation, I shared a story about purchasing my house. Where I told you about how I knew exactly what I wanted, but still talked myself out of it anyway. For a while, I thought that story was about buying the wrong house. But the more that I have sat with it, the more I realized this was never about the house. It was about what happened the moment I stopped trusting myself. I started thinking about all the other times that I had done that, not just with home shopping, but with jobs, relationships, money, opportunities, and everyday decisions. I would make a choice and then I would second guess it. Replay conversations in my head, wonder if I should have done something differently or if I had made a huge mistake. I'd convince myself that everybody else knew more than I did. Maybe you've done that too. Maybe you've talked yourself out of something that you knew you really wanted, or maybe you had talked yourself into something that you knew didn't quite feel right. You're not alone. Here's what I finally learned. Learning to trust yourself isn't something that you accomplish one time and then you're done. It's something that you practice over and over and over again because life changes. And every time we go through something hard, every time we make a mistake, we have another opportunity to trust ourselves or to hand that trust over to somebody else. And if I'm being honest, I still catch myself doing it. I don't think I've mastered this. I don't think I ever will. But I have noticed something changing. I feel that little nudge telling me to take the next step or do the next thing, even when it's scary, even when I'm not even sure what I'm doing. I take that next step anyway. Not because I'm fearless, quite the opposite, but because I've realized something. Confidence doesn't usually come before the decision. Confidence grows because of the decision. To take just that next step, build a little more trust in myself. And every time I make a mistake, I learn something that helps me to make a better decision the next time. And maybe that's what trusting yourself really is. Believing that you will always get it right, but believing that even if you don't, you'll learn, you'll adjust, you'll regroup, you'll keep moving forward. I think sometimes we put so much pressure on ourselves to make the perfect decision that we never stop to really ask ourselves one very, very important question. What kind of life am I actually trying to build? And what kind of life do I actually want to live? When you know the answer to that, your decisions become clearer. Not always easier, but clearer. And maybe that is where peace begins. Not with perfect decisions, but trusting yourself enough to build a life that actually works for you and what you want, instead of trying to build the life that everybody else thinks you should have. If today's conversation resonated with you, I've written a whole article called Learning to Trust Yourself Again, and you can find that over on my website at that'ssoauntsusie.com. Conversations like this help you or remind you that you're not on this journey alone. I would love to have you here. Go ahead and hit the subscribe button so you don't miss another call. Around here, I simply share what I've lived, what I've learned, and what I hope will help somebody else on their journey. And hey, if you're struggling today, pull up a chair. We'll figure it out together.